It was early morning in Flagstaff. The sky was pale and quiet, the kind of morning where the air feels heavy before the sun rises. Meri's neighbors remembered seeing her porch light still on, which was unusual. Her car sat outside, door unlocked, keys dangling from the ignition. At 7:13 a.m., her phone stopped pinging. From that moment on, no one ever heard from Meri again. Christine was the first to realize that all was not well. She'd tried calling Meri to remind her of her daughter's college papers. The phone rang once and then went dead. Christine had originally laughed, believing that Meri was playing hard to get once again. But a few hours passed by, and that laughter was extinguished. When she drove past Meri's house that afternoon, she noticed the curtains were shut tighter than usual. The mailbox was full, and the front door was cracked open just enough to make her stomach drop. Inside, nothing seemed stolen. Her purse was still on the counter, her phone charger plugged in, and half a cup of cold coffee sat by the window. But her phone was gone. Christine called Kody next. What he said was not what she expected. He was not shocked. He was tired. She's just probably off somewhere, he stated. You know how Meri gets when she doesn't get her way. Christine felt there was something amiss with his voice. The type of stress that exists behind repressed fear. Did you ever know that silence, the kind that's heavier than noise itself? By evening, word had passed around the family. Janelle appeared with a flashlight. Robyn stayed home but called over and over, her voice shaking each time. Police did not arrive until late in the evening. They came by way of a wellness check and not as a crime. At least not yet. Officer Raymond described the scene as oddly peaceful. No forced entry, no blood, no sign of struggle. But there was one thing that didn't sit right. A small note on the kitchen table. It read, "I forgive you." 3 words written in Meri's handwriting. But no one knew who the message was for. As police searched the roads nearby, Christine sat in her car outside Meri's house, her hands trembling on the steering wheel. She kept replaying their last conversation in her mind. Just a week earlier, Meri had said she wanted to start clean, to finally let go. Christine thought she meant emotionally. Now she wasn't sure what Meri meant at all. Meanwhile, the internet was already buzzing. Fans were posting theories, photos, and timelines, trying to solve the mystery themselves. But behind the noise, the truth was much quieter, and far more dangerous. When detectives checked Meri's phone records, they found her last call wasn't to Christine. It wasn't to Robyn. And it wasn't to Kody. It was to a lawyer. A lawyer in Phoenix. Someone who used to represent all of them when they were still intact as one family. The phone rang at 6:58 a.m. A mere 15 minutes before the phone was dead for good. At times the best answers are found in the smallest cracks of time. Christine couldn't sleep that night. She kept pacing, checking her phone, reading and rereading Meri's last texts. Robyn was sending long messages, half panic and half apology. Janelle stayed quiet, trying to stay logical, focusing on updates from the police. But Kody didn't show up to the search until the second day. When he finally did, cameras followed. He stood in front of the flashing lights, giving interviews, shaking his head like a man trying to convince himself. But something in his expression didn't match his words. He looked more angry than afraid. Reporters asked if he believed foul play was involved. Kody paused, then said quietly, "If Meri's really gone, someone wanted her gone." That one sentence changed everything. Until then, no one had said it out loud, not missing, not lost. Gone. And that's when the case turned. The next morning, detectives returned to Meri's house with a search warrant. They checked her laptop, her closet, her journals. In her dresser drawer, tucked between folded shirts, they found a printed email. It was sent 2 weeks before she disappeared. The heading read, "Confidential. Evidence for hearing." The body of the message contained nothing. But the sender had a name. It was Robyn Brown. The nearer you get to someone, the better you can conceal the truth. 2 days since Meri went missing, things were different in Flagstaff. The otherwise tranquil neighborhood that had a soothing ambience was abuzz with silent tension. Police cars made the rounds every few hours, and the family compound resembled a stage. Everyone watching, everyone pretending not to. Detectives began interviewing her one by one, with Christine first. She sat with them, white and tired, holding a tissue she hadn't used. They asked her when she'd last seen Meri. "A week ago," she said. They asked her if anything was unusual. Christine hesitated, then revealed something she'd never told anybody. Meri had been cold, evasive, even frightened. "She told me she was finished being controlled," Christine breathed. But she never said by whom. The detectives exchanged a look, taking notes. Christine saw the look they shared. And then there was Janelle. She was calm, cool, and polite. She told them that Meri had been odd, yes, but she assumed it was stress. "We all have our moments," she explained. "This family has been through a lot." But when they asked about the email found in Meri's drawer, Janelle froze. She hadn't heard about it. Her voice wavered for the first time. "Robyn," she repeated. Why would Robyn be sending her anything confidential? Secrets spread fastest when everyone claims to know nothing. Detectives saved Robyn for last. She arrived late, with red eyes and a fistful of tissues. She was already defensive, her voice shaking between snuffles. "I loved Meri," she said. "She was family even when we weren't close." But when the detectives asked her about the email, Robyn's breathing caught. She blinked, looked at the table and whispered, "I don't remember sending anything." The detective leaned forward. "It was made from your personal account," he stated. Robyn's eyes welled up. "Then someone's using my name." The room was quiet. The detective made a note of her response, but what she said was nothing compared to what her response indicated. After the interviews, the family was told not to discuss the investigation amongst themselves. But that night, Christine got a text message from Janelle. "We need to talk. It's about Robyn." They sat in Christina's kitchen late at night, whispering as the rain hammered the windows. Christine brewed tea neither of them would drink. Janelle looked tired. "She's hiding something," she said. "I saw her stiffen when the detectives mentioned that email." Christine nodded slowly. "Felt it too. But we can't pin anything on her unless we have proof." Janelle edged forward. "What if the proof's already vanished? What if Meri was going to present something in court and Robyn had a clue? Sometimes the truth isn't lurking in the shadows, it's lurking in plain sight, right in front of you." The following day, it made the news on the local stations. Sister Wives star missing. Police investigate possible foul play. Photographers parked outside the gates. Reporters shouting questions whenever someone dared to exit. Kody came out once, wearing sunglasses and a strained smile. "We're cooperating fully," he told them. "Our family's been through worse. We'll get through this too." But the cameras caught something else. The way Christine avoided looking at him, the way Robyn's eyes stayed on the ground, and the way Janelle barely opened her door at all. Later that day, the detective received Meri's phone records from the provider. There were no calls after 7:13 a.m. But there were 3 deleted texts sent earlier that morning, to the same unknown number. When they traced it, the name that appeared shocked them. A paralegal working for Robyn's attorney. The detectives didn't tell the family yet. They wanted to watch how everyone acted first. Meanwhile, stress within the compound escalated. Christine tried to keep herself occupied, baking for the kids, pretending all was well. Janelle was isolated. Robyn didn't leave her house. And Kody began having secret meetings with lawyers, something that infuriated the others. Christine confronted him one evening. "Why are you seeing lawyers behind our backs?" Kody glared. "Because the police are turning this into a freak show. I need to protect what's mine." "What's yours?" she snapped back. "Meris lost Kody. Doesn't that mean anything to you at all?" Kody spun on his heel. "You think I don't care? You think I haven't lost enough?" The shouting was loud enough that neighbors overheard it. Fences were overheard through cameras, and within a few hours, there were clips making the rounds on the internet. The public opinion was quick and negative toward Kody. When people start fighting back, that's when you know the truth is close. By day 5, the case had moved beyond that of a missing person. The detectives uncovered financial details that showed Meri had recently withdrawn a large sum of money from an account shared by the entire family, mere days before disappearing. The money's intended destination was unknown. Their next step was clear. They needed warrants for their computers and other equipment, and they needed to bring in the family for questioning, this time in a proper courtroom setting. The detective closed his file late that night, staring at the photo of Meri pinned to the board. Her smile was warm, calm, trusting. But behind her eyes there was something. a kind of quiet resignation, as if she knew what was coming. In the background of that same photo, barely visible, stood Robyn. Her hand rested on Meri's shoulder, her smile just as warm. But to the detective, that photograph didn't look like friendship anymore. It looked like a warning. All families possess secrets. But the secret in this family was about to become public. At the end of the week, Flagstaff's courtroom was full. Hallways were lined with reporters, microphones at the ready, waiting for something to put on the front page. The family arrived separately, no longer together, no longer pretending. Christine sat in the first row clutching a small photo of Meri. Janelle sat behind her, lips pursed but stiff, and Robyn came last with her lawyer. Kody arrived with his head held high and his jaw clenched, as if he were walking into battle he knew he'd lose. This was not a hearing on guilt or innocence yet. This was a hearing concerning evidence, what the police had found and what the judge would allow to go forward. But in that room, already it was an inquisition of loyalty. The prosecutor began with a slideshow, photos of Meri's house, her car, her note, and finally the email. Confidential. Evidence for hearing. He told the court that the email originated from Robyn Brown's personal account. Robyn's lawyer stood immediately, objecting, claiming the message could have been fabricated. The judge allowed it to stay for now. The air was thick with tension. The crowd surged forward. Even the air strained. Christine could not tear her eyes from Kody. He sat immovable, arms folded, eyes refusing to meet hers. As the detective took the stand, he set out the chronology, phone records, missing funds, deleted texts. Each fact dropped like a stone cast into quiet water, sending waves through the room. When asked about the deleted texts, he paused. "We've identified the number they were sent to," he said. "It belongs to a paralegal working for Robyn Brown's legal team." Robyn's lawyer objected again, voice sharp. "There's no proof my client knew about those messages." The judge nodded but allowed the record to stand. When truth begins to leak through cracks, even silence becomes suspicious. Following the detective's resignation, the prosecutor asked to interview the family members informally, to create a timeline. Christine was summoned first. She ascended to the stand, voice trembling but strong enough to carry. She recounted the day she had discovered Meri's door open, about the note that said, "I forgive you." Her eyes twinkled. "I thought she was moving on," Christine whispered. "Now I think she was saying goodbye." The room fell silent. Cameras snapped. Then Janelle. Shorter, more even responses. But when she was asked whether she believed that Meri was afraid of anyone, Janelle hesitated. She shot a look at Kody before answering yes. "I think she was afraid of conflict. Especially recently." Kody's lawyer sprang up immediately, insisting her testimony be stricken. The judge declined. Finally, it was Robyn's turn to testify. Her hands shook as she was sworn in. She testified in tears, insisting she had nothing against Meri. "We weren't close, but I loved her," she testified. "She was like part of our family. I don't know why my name's in any of this." The prosecutor leaned forward. "Mrs. Brown, did you know that Meri had met with the lawyer the morning she disappeared?" Robyn blinked frantically. "No," she gasped. "Did you know that the lawyer she retained earlier had defended your family in a property dispute?" Robyn's eyes flashed to Kody and then returned to the prosecutor. "I had no idea about that either." The prosecutor paused, observing her. "And then how do you explain an email transmitted from your account to Meri 2 weeks ago, labeled as evidence for a hearing?" Robyn's voice broke. "I can't. I swear I didn't send it." Kody's eyes fixed. He was for the first time anxious. Guilt doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers in the smallest words. The family congregated in the courthouse hallway following the hearing. Reporters screamed questions, cameras flashing. Christine passed straight through them with Janelle. Kody stopped at the doors, his expression stern. Robyn stood beside him, wiping at tears. Christine looked back once and said, loudly enough for microphones to pick up, "She was attempting to get away from all this, Kody. From you. And now she's dead." The words hurt like a slap. Kody didn't flinch. He just walked away. That video went viral overnight. Millions viewed it, debated it, analyzed every glance and every pause. Public sentiment turned against Christine, and suspicion fell against Kody and Robyn. But something was brewing in the background. The lead detective received new lab work. Prints from the envelope that held the printed email. 2 partials. One belonged to Meri. The other to Robyn. The detective shut his folder quietly. It wasn't enough for an arrest. But it was enough to make one chilling question. If Robyn did not compose the email, why are her fingerprints on it? Every solution only leads one to a greater secret. That evening, after the courtroom hearing, the family compound resembled a ghost town. No one talked. The porch lights cast over empty driveways, and the desert wind blew dust against the windows like gentle knocking. Christine sat alone in her kitchen, reading the note she had copied from the police report. I forgive you. She'd read it 100 times, searching for hidden meaning in the 3 words. Who was Meri forgiving? And why? Janelle stopped by around midnight. She looked pale, drained, and older than she had a week ago. She didn't just leave, Janelle said, setting her phone on the counter. I talked to the detective. They found something in her storage unit. Christine's heart skipped. What? Papers, Janelle whispered. Bank statements. Property forms. They show transfers between family accounts. Robyn's, Kody's, even Meri's. Money was moving everywhere. Christine felt her stomach twist. So Meri knew? She was aware, Janelle answered. And she was going to blow the whistle. Occasionally the truth is not really concealed so much as poised to blow at the right moment. By morning the news was front and center on every TV channel. Missing wife could have revealed family's secret banking accounts. Kody slammed the door on reporters, shouting that the press was sensationalizing everything. Robyn stayed at home, not answering her phone. The detective went to the compound with a fresh warrant, this one for Robyn's electronic equipment. She wasn't there, but her attorney consented to access to her office computer. On that hard drive, investigators found pieces of a deleted email chain. The one message that caught their eye was a draft written 3 days before Meri vanished. Said, we can't let her testify. No name followed a line, no signature, no address. But the metadata verified that it had been typed from Robyn's computer. What they discovered altered everything. It didn't prove guilt, but it proved fear. That evening the detective alone saw Christine. She played the message out loud to her, speaking it word for word. Christine covered her mouth with her hand, tears flowing. You believe Robyn, we don't yet know, said the detective. But there was someone in that house who wanted Meri silenced. Christine nodded slowly. Then you'd better hurry. Because if she's alive, she's running out of time. Fear has a sound. You just need to listen closely enough to hear it. The next day, Kody called an emergency family meeting, something they hadn't done in years. The wives gathered in Robyn's living room. Awkward, distant, like strangers forced to share a secret. Kody strode back and forth in the room. This has gone too far, he said. They're splitting us up. Christine folded her arms. Maybe that's because there is something to split up. Robyn's face flushed with fury. You think I did this? You think I hurt her? No one said that, Janelle said gently. But you have to admit, everything leads back to you. Robyn's voice shook. You all hated me from the start. Now you have your excuse at last. Kody pounded his fist on the table. The sound echoed around the room. Everyone stood stock still. Christine stood up. Meri was scared, Kody. She told me she'd had enough of being manipulated. Enough of being governed by your rules. And now she's left. Kody's face went red. You're getting everything out of context. She was insecure, Christine. She wanted out long before this. She wanted freedom, Christine said. There is a difference. No one spoke for an instant. The air was so charged with tension it could have strangled the air itself. Then Janelle breathed softly, what if she is alive? The room grew silent again, but this time it was not the same silence. It was hope and fear intertwined. Robyn's eyes grew watery. If she is alive, she whispered, then why hasn't she called? No one answered. Sometimes silence screams louder than confession. That night, the detective received a call from the owner of a gas station 5 hours south of Seattle. A woman who looked like Meri had appeared there the morning she went missing, buying gas and water, heading south. Security cameras confirmed it. Meri alone, sunglasses, calm but hurried. The tape flashed it all back. Was she running away from somebody? Or running to somebody? The detective replayed the clip repeatedly, going forward in slow motion frames. At one point Meri looked directly into the camera. For a half-second her expression shifted. Fear, relief, maybe both. And looked away. The tape concluded with her car disappearing down the highway. When the detective presented the tape to the family, Christine sobbed. She was alive, she whispered. She was right there. Kody shifted forward. His fists curled around the lip of the table. Then find her. Quit messing around poking around in us. The detective nodded slowly. We're working on it. But you should realize, her car was found 30 miles from that gas station, without a trace leading away. Someone gave her a ride. Kody leaned back, shocked. Christina's voice broke the silence. Then whoever gave her a ride was the last person to have seen her alive. And like that, every eye in the room was on Robyn. She shook her head, whispering, "No, it wasn't me." But her voice shook, and everyone could hear the terror beneath it. All secrets come home to roost in the end. The police station was quiet the next morning, except for the whir of the evidence room refrigerator. Detective Hughes gazed at the picture of Meri on the whiteboard. Her smile set, her eyes brimming with a sort of sadness he'd seen way too many times before. Beside her picture were pinned notes, phone records, and one printed still frame from the gas station footage. Something wasn't adding up. He leaned closer. In the corner of the frame, barely visible, was the reflection of another car, dark SUV, tinted windows, parked a few feet behind Meri's. He zoomed in. The license plate wasn't clear, but it was enough to send to forensics. Within hours the results came back. The SUV belonged to Brown Family Enterprises LLC. The company Robyn had registered in her name 3 years prior. That was their break. Christine and Janelle were taken to the station that afternoon. The detective played back the video again, this time with the zoomed-in shot. "That's Robyn's SUV," Christine said right away. Janelle's voice trembled. "Then she did follow her." The detective nodded. "We suspect that she may have met Meri at some point after this video. Whether to help her or stop her we haven't figured out yet." Christine folded her arms. "I don't believe she was helping." The detective let out a sigh. "We require proof, not emotion. And currently the only person who can confirm what happened is Kody." They interrogated Kody that evening. He looked exhausted, his voice rough from sleepless nights. "You're wasting time," he muttered. Meri left. "She always said she would." The detective leaned forward. "Then why was your company car at the same gas station where she was last seen?" Kody froze. "It wasn't me," he said quickly. "I didn't even know the SUV was missing. Who had access to it?" Kody hesitated. "Robyn." The silence after that was louder than any confession. And when the lies start to come apart, the truth creeps in unnoticed, and sits down. Meanwhile, all this, Robyn was at home, walking back and forth in her living room. Her phone rang nonstop. Texts, voicemails, journalists. She didn't answer any of them. The walls were closing in. Her kids were upstairs, hardly speaking. The news networks were repeating her name, her picture, her crying in court. When she heard the knock at the door, she already knew. 2 officers. A search warrant. She didn't argue. She just stepped aside and let them take her laptop, her phone, and a small lockbox from beneath her desk. Inside that box were letters, dozens of letters, all written by Meri. The handwriting was unmistakable. But they weren't letters from years past. The most recent one was 2 days before Meri disappeared. Each letter was personal, emotional, confessions of regret, of feeling trapped, of wanting to start over. But one stood out. It said, "I've made copies. If something happens to me, they'll know who to blame." The detective read it twice, then once more. Now the case wasn't just about disappearance. It was about motive. Every secret written in ink eventually bleeds through the page. When the family learned about the letters, everything fell apart. Christine was sobbing hysterically. She knew something was going to happen, she whispered. She was scared. Janelle sat in shock, shaking her head. "I should have noticed. We all should have." Kody exploded. "You're twisting this. You're turning everyone against us." Christine flailed. "No, Kody, you turned us against each other long before she vanished." He slammed his fist on the table. "You think ID hurt her? After all that?" "No," Christine whispered. "But you broke her. And maybe that was enough." The struggle echoed through the empty house, one that had once been full of laughter, now infested with blame. Outside, a patrol car idled under the streetlight. The detective crouched inside, scrutinizing video from nearby traffic cameras. One clip, hours after Meri had vanished, showed the same SUV, Robyn's SUV, rolling back toward Flagstaff with just a single occupant. That was not Meri. There are moments when that which cannot be seen in a photograph says it all. Robyn was recalled to the station the following morning. She arrived white, shaking, holding a crumpled handkerchief. "I didn't hurt her," she stated before anyone even asked. "I was following her at her request. She wanted to talk to me alone, out of everyone's line of sight. I went to go visit her, but when I got there she was gone." Gone. The detective repeated. "She left something behind on the seat," Robyn whispered. "A flash drive. She told me I had to keep it safe." The detective's eyes widened. "You still have it?" Robyn slowly nodded and rummaged in her purse. Inside an unmarked envelope was a small silver drive. The detective plugged it into his computer. There were 3 video files. Each of them dated. The first 2 had Meri speaking to the camera directly. She was tired but firm. She talked of manipulation, of having been ejected from her own home, of monetary information shed uncovered. And then there was the 3rd video, made the night before she vanished. Meri looked straight into the camera lens. "If you're watching this," she said quietly, "then I didn't survive. But the truth will." The screen went black. The detective leaned back in his chair, his eyes wide. "Sometimes the dead do not go away, they just speak differently."